Welcome to Revenge Mag. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and step into the stories that serve the quiet revenge.
My name is Sophia Bennett. I'm 32 years old, and 3 weeks ago I became a widow. The day my husband passed, I called my parents sobbing, barely able to get the words out. And my mother said, "Honey, we're in the middle of Olivia's birthday brunch. Can this wait?" It couldn't. My husband was gone. But apparently my sister's mimosas mattered more. Days later, they showed up at my door, not to grieve, but to demand 50% of everything James left behind. They said I couldn't be trusted with that much money. They said Olivia needed it more. They said family helps family. But when my 8-year-old daughter handed them an envelope and asked, "Is this why you came?" everything changed. Inside was a letter from my late husband, and when they read it, their hands started shaking. Before I tell you what was in that letter, please take a moment to like and subscribe. But only if you think people should stand up for themselves when family crosses the line, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. I love knowing this story is reaching people all over the world. Let me take you back to the day it all started. It was a Saturday evening, September 14th. I was folding laundry in the living room while Lily watched cartoons upstairs. James had gone to pick up groceries, just a quick run to the store, 20 minutes round trip. He'd kissed me goodbye at the door. "Need anything else?" he'd asked. I'd laughed. "Just you back safe." Those were the last words I ever said to him. My phone rang at 6:32 p.m. unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Mrs. Bennett," a woman's voice, professional but soft. "This is Mercy General Hospital. I'm calling about your husband, James Bennett." The laundry basket slipped from my hands. "There was an accident on Route 47. A drunk driver ran a red light. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Bennett, but your husband didn't survive." I don't remember what I said next. I think I screamed. I know I dropped the phone. Lily came running downstairs, her face pale with fear. Mommy, what's wrong?" I couldn't answer her. I could barely breathe. I picked up my phone with shaking hands and dialed my parents. They would know what to do. They would come. They had to come. Mom answered on the third ring. I could hear music in the background. Laughter, the clink of glasses. "Sophia," she said, her voice bright. "Sweetheart, what is it?" "Mom," my voice cracked. "James, Honey, we're in the middle of Olivia's birthday brunch. Can this wait?" I tried again. "Mom, James is dead." There was a pause. 2 seconds of silence. "Oh, honey, that's terrible," she said, her tone shifting only slightly. "But we're with guests right now. We'll call you tomorrow, okay?" I heard my father's voice in the background. "Is everything okay?" "It's Sophia," Mom replied. "Nothing urgent." The line went dead. I sat on the kitchen floor, phone still pressed to my ear, and felt something inside me break that had nothing to do with James's death. The funeral was 4 days later, September 18th, a Tuesday. I stood at the front of the chapel, one hand gripping Lily's small fingers, the other resting on the polished wood of James's casket. The room was full. His coworkers, college friends, neighbors we'd known for years, people who cared, people who showed up, but not my parents, not my sister. Lily looked up at me with wide, confused eyes. "Mommy, where's Grandma and Grandpa?" I swallowed hard. "They're busy, sweetheart. But Daddy died." "I know, baby." She didn't ask again. At 8 years old, she already understood more than she should have. James's boss, Mr. Smith, came over during the reception. He shook my hand firmly, his eyes red-rimmed. "He talked about you and Lily every day," he said. "He was so proud of you both, and he set everything up to make sure you'd be okay." I nodded, not trusting my voice. "If you need anything," Mr. Smith continued, "anything at all, call me." That night, after everyone left and Lily finally fell asleep, I checked my phone. 5 missed calls, all from friends offering help, none from my family. But there was one text message from Olivia sent at 11:47 p.m. "Hey sis, heard about James? That's rough. Call me when you're free." I stared at the message. Rough. Like James dying was a bad day at work. Like losing the love of my life was just an inconvenience. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened Instagram. Olivia's stories were still up from the weekend. Photos of her birthday celebration, a brunch at a fancy restaurant. Champagne flutes raised, her caption reading, "Blessed with family." I closed the app and cried myself to sleep on James's side of the bed. The next morning, I forced myself to sit at the kitchen table with James's laptop and face reality. Bills, bank accounts, insurance papers. James had always handled the finances, not because I couldn't, but because he enjoyed it. Now I had to figure everything out alone. The numbers swam in front of my eyes. The house was paid off. James had insisted on that years ago. "If anything ever happens to me," he'd said once, joking, "at least you'll have a roof over your head." I'd laughed then. It wasn't funny anymore. There was $180,000 in savings, a life insurance policy for $500,000, investment accounts I didn't fully understand, a college fund for Lily that James had been contributing to since she was born. I'd never managed this much money before. For 7 years, I'd been a stay-at-home mom. It was a choice we'd made together. James's job paid well and Lily needed me, but now, looking at these numbers, I felt overwhelmed. My phone buzzed, a text from Olivia. "Seriously, call me." I set the phone down, another notification. An email from someone named Harrison, a law firm in downtown. The subject line read, "Estate of James David Bennett." I opened it with trembling hands. "Dear Mrs. Bennett, I am the executor of your husband's will. James retained our services 6 months ago to ensure his estate was properly managed. Please schedule an appointment at your earliest convenience to discuss the terms of his estate. Sincerely, Gerald Harrison-esque." 6 months ago. James had planned this 6 months ago and never mentioned it. I stared at the email for a long time. What else had he prepared? What else had he known? 3 days after the funeral, the doorbell rang at 10:00 in the morning. I wasn't expecting anyone. Lily was upstairs in her room drawing pictures of her father. Her therapist said it would help her process. I wiped my hands on my jeans and opened the door. My parents stood on the porch. Olivia was behind them holding a coffee cup from Starbucks. "Sophia." Mom stepped forward and pulled me into a brief hug. Her perfume was overwhelming. "We're so sorry we couldn't make it to the funeral, dear. Olivia's event was already planned, you understand?" I stood frozen. The funeral was 4 days ago. "I know, sweetheart, but we're here now." She walked past me into the house like she owned it. Dad followed, giving my shoulder an awkward pat. Olivia trailed behind, her eyes scanning the living room. "Nice place," she murmured. James really did well for himself. I closed the door and turned to face them. My heart was pounding. "What are you doing here?" "We came to see you," Mom said, settling onto the couch. "To check on you and Lily." Dad sat in James's chair. I wanted to tell him to move, but the words stuck in my throat. "Where's Lily?" Olivia asked. "Upstairs drawing." "Poor thing," Mom said. "This must be so hard for her." I waited. Something felt wrong. They weren't here to comfort me. The air was too thick with tension, too deliberate. Dad cleared his throat. "Sophia, we need to talk about James's estate." There it was. Mom leaned forward. "You're still young, honey. Managing that much money is complicated. We think it's best if we help." Olivia added, "Yeah, sis, you've never worked in finance. We just want to make sure Lily's future is secure." I felt my hands curl into fists. Dad reached into his briefcase and pulled out a folder. He set it on the coffee table between us. "We consulted a lawyer," he said. "As your parents, we have the right to contest the will if we believe you're not capable of managing it properly." My mouth went dry. Mom's voice was gentle, reasonable. "We're not being greedy, Sophia. But 50% should go to family to help Olivia start her business and secure our retirement." I looked at Olivia. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "I've been working on this startup for 2 years," she said quietly. "This is my chance. You want half." My voice sounded hollow. "Half of what James left for Lily and me." Dad sighed. "Don't be dramatic. You'll still have plenty and we're family. We take care of each other." I thought of the phone call. Can this wait? I thought of the funeral they'd missed. The birthday brunch with champagne and hashtags about being blessed. This is what family meant to them. I stood up. "I need time to think." Mom's expression tightened just slightly. "Of course, dear, but don't take too long. Olivia's investors are waiting." Dad tucked the folder back into his briefcase. "We'll give you a week, but Sophia, be reasonable about this. We're only trying to help." They stood to leave. Olivia paused at the door. I really am sorry about James, she said. The words sounded rehearsed. I didn't respond. After they left, I locked the door and leaned against it. Upstairs, Lily's footsteps creaked across the floor. I heard her little voice talking to herself, probably narrating her drawing. I thought of James, of the email from the lawyer, of what he'd said once years ago after a tense Thanksgiving with my family. If anything ever happens to me, don't let anyone take what's yours and Lily's. I've made sure of it. I pulled out my phone and called Mr. Harrison. The phone calls started the next day. Mom called at 9:00 a.m., then again at noon, then at 3:00 p.m., 5:00 p.m., and 7:00 p.m. I let every call go to voicemail. Olivia sent texts. Hey, have you thought about what we discussed? Then, we're just trying to look out for you. Then, don't shut us out, Sophia. Dad left a voicemail on the second day. His voice was stern. Sophia, this is getting ridiculous. We're trying to help you. Call us back. I didn't. I was scheduled to meet Mr. Harrison on Friday. 3 more days. I could hold out 3 more days. Lily noticed. Mommy, why is Grandma calling so much? I knelt down to her level. They just want to check on us, baby. She tilted her head, studying my face. You look sad when the phone rings. Kids see everything. On Thursday afternoon, Olivia posted on Facebook. The post was vague but pointed. Sometimes family disappoints you when you need them most. Within an hour, 3 friends had texted me. Is everything okay? Saw Olivia's post. What happened? Are you in a fight with your family? I turned my phone off. That evening, I sat with Lily on the couch. We watched her favorite movie, something about a princess and a dragon. She curled against my side, her small hand holding mine. Mommy, she whispered during a quiet scene. Yeah, baby. Is Daddy watching us? My throat tightened. I think so. Good, she squeezed my hand. Then he knows we're okay. I kissed the top of her head and tried to believe it. Friday morning, I put on my best dress, the navy one James always said made me look confident. I needed that confidence now. Mr. Harrison's office was downtown in an old brick building with tall windows. The law office smelled like old books and furniture polish. A receptionist led me down a hallway lined with legal texts and framed degrees. Mr. Harrison's name was on a brass plate beside a heavy wooden door. He stood when I entered, a man in his mid-50s with gray hair and kind eyes. Mrs. Bennett, he shook my hand firmly. I'm so sorry for your loss. James was a good man. Thank you. I sat in the leather chair across from his desk. He opened a thick file folder. Your husband came to see me 6 months ago. He was very specific about what he wanted. He never told me. Mr. Harrison smiled gently. He didn't want to worry you, but he wanted to make sure you and Lily would be protected no matter what. Protected from what? He pulled out a document and slid it across the desk. From people who might try to take advantage of your grief. I stared at the papers. Last will and testament of James David Bennett. Everything goes to you and Lily, Mr. Harrison explained. The house, all financial accounts, life insurance, investments, it's an airtight will. Your parents have no legal claim unless they can prove undue influence or mental incapacity, which they can't. Relief flooded through me. So, they can't take anything. They can try to contest it, he said carefully, but it will cost them legal fees and they'll fail. James made sure of that. He paused, then reached into the folder again. There's one more thing. James left you a letter. He asked me to give it to you when this moment came. He handed me an envelope. My name was written on it in James's handwriting. My hands shook as I opened it. The letter was 2 pages front and back. James's handwriting messy but familiar. I'd seen it on grocery lists, birthday cards, sticky notes left on the bathroom mirror. My dearest Sophia. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone and someone is trying to take what belongs to you and Lily. I'm going to guess it's your parents, probably with Olivia's support. My breath caught. I know your parents. I've watched how they treat you versus Olivia for 7 years. I've sat through Christmases where they gave her expensive gifts and gave you gift cards. I've listened to them praise her accomplishments while dismissing yours. I've seen you smile through it all because you didn't want to cause trouble. They'll come after the inheritance. Not because they need it, but because they think you're weak and won't fight back. Tears blurred the words. Sophia, you are the strongest person I know. You just never had a reason to show it. You've raised our daughter with love and patience. You've made our house a home. You've supported my career and never once complained about the long hours or the stress. You are not weak. You are not incapable. And you deserve every penny I worked for because you worked just as hard making our family a family. I've set up everything so that you and Lily will be safe. Trust Mr. Harrison. Trust the process and trust yourself. There's a second envelope in my desk drawer at home labeled for Lily's hands only. Give it to her when they come asking. She'll know what to do. I love you. I'm sorry I had to leave, but I promise I'm still protecting you. Forever yours, James. I folded the letter and looked up at Mr. Harrison through tears. He knew, I whispered. He knew exactly what they'd do. Yes, Mr. Harrison said gently. He did. I drove home in a daze. James's letter was in my purse, pressed against my heart like a talisman. Lily was with a neighbor. Mrs. Chen had offered to watch her during my appointment. The house was empty when I walked in, silent. I went straight to James's office. We'd never changed it after he died. His coffee mug still sat on the desk, half full and forgotten. His jacket hung on the back of his chair. Photos of Lily lined the bookshelf. First day of kindergarten, gap-toothed smile, princess costume from last Halloween. I opened the bottom drawer of his desk. The envelope was right where James said it would be, white, business-sized, with Lily's name written in careful block letters. For Lily's hands only when they asked. I held it up to the light. I couldn't see through the paper. Every instinct screamed at me to open it to know what James had planned. But the instructions were clear. Lily's hands, not mine. I heard the front door open. Mommy, Lily's voice called out. Mrs. Chen brought me home. I stood quickly, slipping the envelope into my pocket. Lily appeared in the doorway. She looked at me standing in her father's office and her expression softened. Do you miss Daddy? Every second, I said honestly. She walked over and hugged my waist. Me too. I held her tight. Lily, I need to ask you something. She looked up. Okay. If Grandma and Grandpa come back and they ask about money, I need you to give them something. Can you do that for me? She nodded seriously. What is it? I pulled out the envelope and handed it to her. She read the label slowly. This is for me, it's from Daddy. He wanted you to give it to them. Lily's eyes widened. When? You'll know when. Mom called again on Sunday morning. This time I answered. Sophia. Her voice was bright, relieved. Finally, sweetheart, we need to talk. I'm listening. Not over the phone. We're having a family lunch at our house this Sunday. Please come. I gripped the phone tighter. I don't think that's a good idea right now. Sophia, we need to resolve this. Uncle Tom and Aunt Sarah will be there too. We're all worried about you. Uncle Tom and Aunt Sarah, she was building an audience. This wasn't just a family lunch. It was a trap. They wanted to pressure me in front of everyone. I'll think about it, sweetheart. Mom's voice hardened just slightly. This isn't optional. Family needs to be together, especially after a loss like this. 100, don't be late. She hung up before I could respond. I stood in the kitchen staring at my phone. I could refuse to go. I could ignore them all. But something James wrote kept echoing in my mind. You are the strongest person I know. You just never had a reason to show it. Maybe it was time to show it. I called out to Lily. She came downstairs, still in her pajamas. What's up, Mommy? We're going to Grandma and Grandpa's house for lunch next Sunday. Her face lit up, then fell. Will they be nice to us? The question broke my heart. 8 years old and already learning that family could hurt you. I don't know, baby, but we'll be okay. I promise. That evening, I helped Lily pick out a dress for Sunday. She chose her favorite, the blue one with white flowers that James had bought her for her birthday. Should I bring the envelope Daddy left? She asked. I looked at her, surprised by how perceptive she was. Not yet, baby, but bring your little purse. We'll keep it safe there. Sunday arrived too quickly. I pulled into my parents' driveway at 12:55 p.m. 8 cars were already parked along the street. My stomach twisted. Lily held my hand as we walked to the door. She tucked the envelope carefully into her small purse. I could see the corner peeking out. Olivia opened the door. Sophia, Lily. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Come in. The dining room was full. Uncle Tom and Aunt Sarah sat at the far end. Cousin David was there with his wife. Cousin Jessica waved at Lily. My parents stood near the kitchen talking in low voices. Everyone stopped when we entered. Sophia. Mom hurried over, pulling me into a hug that felt performative. I'm so glad you came. Dad gestured to 2 empty chairs. Sit down, let's eat first, then we'll talk. The meal was silent in all the wrong ways. People made polite conversation. Weather, sports, Jessica's new job, but kept glancing at me like I was a problem to be solved. Lily ate her pasta quietly, her purse tucked beside her chair. After dessert, Uncle Tom cleared his throat. Sophia, we heard about the inheritance. That's quite a sum. The room fell silent. Aunt Sarah added carefully, we're all family here. We should support each other. I set down my fork. What are you saying? Dad leaned forward. We're saying that $500,000 is a lot of money for someone who's never managed finances before. And we're worried, Mom said, about you making decisions while you're grieving. Olivia spoke up. We just think it would be better if the family helped manage it for Lily's sake. I looked around the table. Every pair of eyes was on me, waiting, judging. This was their plan. Outnumber me, make me feel small. Lily's hand found mine under the table. Dad stood up, his voice taking on that authoritative tone he used when he wanted to end a discussion. Sophia, we've all discussed this. We think you're making a mistake by keeping everything. Disgusted, I repeated, you discussed my husband's estate without me. We're trying to protect you, Mom said. Olivia leaned forward. You've never handled money before. What if you lose it all? What about Lily's future? Lily's future is secure, I said quietly. James made sure of it. Did he? Dad challenged. Or did he assume you'd have family support? Uncle Tom shifted uncomfortably. Robert, maybe she needs to hear this. Dad cut him off. Sophia, your mother and I raised you. We sacrificed for you. Don't we deserve something for all those years? The room felt too small, too hot. Cousin David added, my parents helped raise you too. They were always there for family events. I felt my face flush. And where were you all at James's funeral? Silence. Where were you? I continued, my voice shaking, when I called to say my husband was dead. Mom's face went pale. Sophia, we explained, you were at a birthday party, I said, drinking champagne while I planned my husband's funeral alone. Olivia stood up. That's not fair. We came as soon as we could. 3 days later, asking for money, we're asking you to be reasonable. Dad's voice rose. James didn't understand that family takes care of each other. He didn't know how we do things. You're being selfish, Sophia, Olivia said, her voice sharp. The room went silent. Everyone stared at me, waiting for me to fold, to apologize, to give in. Lily squeezed my hand tighter. Then she let go and stood up. Hey, everyone, if you've ever been in a situation where your whole family stood against you, hit that like button so I know you understand what I felt in that moment. And if you want to see how an 8-year-old changed everything with one simple question, make sure you're subscribed because what happens next is something nobody at that table expected. Now watch what my daughter did. Lily walked around the table toward my parents. Her little Mary Jane shoes clicked on the hardwood floor. The room watched her with curious, uncertain expressions. Grandpa. Her voice was small but clear. Dad's face softened immediately. Yes, sweetheart. Can I say something? Of course you can. Lily reached into her purse and pulled out the white envelope. She held it carefully, the way she held precious things like the rocks she collected from the park or the drawings she made of her father. She walked up to Dad and held out the envelope. Daddy told me to give you this when you came to ask. Mom frowned. Ask for what, honey? Lily looked up with those wide, innocent 8-year-old eyes. For money, that's why you came, right? The room went completely still. Dad took the envelope slowly. His hand trembled slightly. Lily, sweetheart, we're not here for money. We're here because we love you and your mommy. Lily tilted her head. Then why did Grandma say you needed 50%? I watched my mother's face drain of color. Mom started. And why didn't you come when Daddy died? Lily continued. Mommy cried all night, I heard her. Aunt Sarah's fork clattered against her plate. Dad stared at the envelope in his hands. The handwriting on it, James's handwriting, stared back. For Lily's hands only when they ask. Olivia leaned over. What is it? Uncle Tom watched from the other end of the table, his expression unreadable. Dad's fingers fumbled with the seal. He pulled out 2 folded pieces of paper, a letter, and what looked like legal documents. He started reading. His face went from pale to flushed in seconds. Mom grabbed his arm. "What does it say?" Dad's hands started shaking. Olivia snatched the letter from Dad's hands. "What does it say?" She scanned the first few lines and her face went white. "You can't be serious." "Read it out loud," Aunt Sarah said quietly. Olivia's hands shook. She cleared her throat. "To Robert and Linda Bennett, if you are reading this, it means you have asked my wife and daughter for money after my death." The room erupted in whispers. "Keep reading," I said calmly. Olivia continued, her voice cracking. "I knew this would happen. I've known for years how you treat Sophia compared to Olivia. I've watched you dismiss her accomplishments and prioritize your younger daughter at every turn." Mom stood up. "This is ridiculous. James had no right." "Keep reading, Olivia," I repeated. She looked at me, then back at the letter. "I have left 100% of my estate to Sophia and Lily Bennett. This is my legal right and my choice. They are my family. They are my priority." Uncle Tom leaned forward, listening intently. "If you attempt to contest this will," Olivia paused, swallowing hard. "If you attempt to contest this will, my attorney Gerald Harrison has been instructed to release documentation of your refusal to attend my funeral." Cousin David's eyes widened. "You didn't go to the funeral." Olivia kept reading, her voice barely above a whisper. "Specifically, the phone call on September 14th at 6:47 p.m. where Sophia informed Linda of my death, and Linda chose to stay at Olivia's birthday party. This phone call was recorded as part of my emergency contact protocol. It is time-stamped and verified." The room exploded. "You didn't go to his funeral?" Aunt Sarah asked, her voice rising. "You knew he died and you stayed at a party." Jessica stared at my mother. Mom tried to speak. "It wasn't we were going to, but..." No one was listening anymore. Olivia's voice shook as she continued reading. "The call was recorded through my employer's emergency contact system. The timestamp is verified. The content is indisputable." Dad grabbed the second paper, a photocopy of the will. His eyes scanned it frantically. "Furthermore," Olivia read, her face crumbling, "any attempt to publicly shame or pressure Sophia will result in this documentation being shared with your church community and extended family network. I do not make this threat lightly. I make it to protect my wife from people who have spent her entire life making her feel less than." Mom sank into her chair. "James wouldn't." "He did," I said quietly. "He knew exactly what you'd do." Uncle Tom stood up abruptly. "Robert, Linda," his voice was cold, "you didn't attend your son-in-law's funeral." "We were going to come later," Dad protested. Olivia's birthday was more important." Tom's jaw clenched. "Are you serious?" Aunt Sarah looked at Mom with disgust. "I was at that brunch." "You never mentioned Sophia's husband dying." "I didn't want to ruin Olivia's day," Mom whispered. "So, you ruined Sophia's?" Jessica spoke up, her voice sharp. "She lost her husband and you couldn't even show up." David shook his head slowly. "And now you're here demanding money." Olivia set the letter down on the table. Her hands were still trembling. "The will is legal," she said hollowly. "Signed, notarized, witnessed. He left everything to Sophia and Lily. There's nothing we can do." Dad stared at the papers. "This can't be enforceable." "The recording is perfectly legal in this state," I said. I'd looked it up. Single-party consent. James was on the call. He had every right to record it. The silence that followed was deafening. I stood up slowly. Lily immediately came to my side, slipping her hand into mine. "James knew this would happen," I said, my voice steady, "because it's happened my whole life. Olivia always got the attention, the support, the benefit of the doubt." "Sophia," Mom started. "I was the responsible one, the one who didn't need help, the one who'd figure it out." I looked at each of them. But responsible really meant invisible. It meant you could ignore me when it mattered most. Dad tried to interrupt. "Sophia, this is family business." "No, Dad, this is my business. James's will is legal." Mr. Harrison confirmed it. "Everything goes to Lily and me, and there's nothing you can contest." "We raised you," Mom said, tears streaming down her face. "Doesn't that count for something?" "It does," I said honestly, "and I'm grateful. But that doesn't give you the right to half of what my husband left for his daughter." Olivia stood up. Sophia, I didn't know they were going to. Yes, you did, I said quietly. You texted me about James dying. You called it rough. Like losing my husband was a bad day at work. She flinched. I picked up my purse. Lily and I are leaving now. If you want to contest the will, talk to your lawyer. But Mr. Harrison has the recording, the documentation, and a very clear set of instructions. Uncle Tom cleared his throat. Sophia, I think you're doing the right thing. Aunt Sarah nodded. If I'd known, I would have been at that funeral. Jessica stood. Me too. I'm sorry, Sophia. I looked at my parents one last time. You made your choice on September 14th. Now I'm making mine. Lily and I walked to the door. Behind us, voices erupted into argument. How could you not tell us? That was Tom. Robert, this is shameful. Sarah's voice sharp with anger. Mom, Dad, you need to fix this. David's voice, I didn't stop. I didn't turn around. I just kept walking. Dad's voice rose above the others. You're going to regret this, Sophia. I paused at the doorway, turned back just enough so he could see my face. The only thing I regret is not setting boundaries sooner. Lily tugged my hand. Let's go, Mommy. We walked to the car in silence. Behind us, I could hear the front door slam, more shouting from inside the house. Lily climbed into her booster seat. I buckled her in, my hands surprisingly steady. Mommy, she said as I started the engine. Are you okay? I looked at her in the rearview mirror, my beautiful, perceptive daughter, James's eyes looking back at me. I'm more than okay, baby, I'm free. The drive home took 15 minutes. Lily hummed quietly in the back seat, already moving past what had happened. Kids were resilient like that. My phone buzzed as we pulled into the driveway. Texts were flooding in. Jessica, I'm so sorry. I had no idea they did that. Tom, your parents owe you an apology. That was inexcusable. Sarah, if you need anything, call us. And one from Olivia. Can we talk, please? I silenced my phone. Inside, Lily went straight to the kitchen and poured herself a glass of milk. What's for dinner? How about pizza? I suggested. Her face lit up. With extra cheese. With extra cheese. While Lily watched cartoons, I sat at the kitchen table and finally let myself breathe, really breathe. For the first time in 3 weeks, I felt like I could. James had protected us. Even in death, he'd protected us. If you've ever had to cut ties with family to protect yourself or your children, leave a heart in the comments. I want you to know you're not alone in that decision. And if you want to see what happened in the weeks after I walked out of that house, hit subscribe because the story doesn't end here. Some of my family reached out to apologize. Others never spoke to me again. Here's what happened next. The first thing I did Monday morning was block my parents' numbers, then Olivia's. It felt like cutting off a limb. Painful, but necessary. I kept Tom and Sarah's numbers. They'd proven themselves. Jessica, too. By Tuesday, I had an email from Tom. Sophia, Sarah, and I support your decision completely. If you need anything, childcare, a meal, someone to talk to, we're here. I replied with 2 words. Thank you. Wednesday, I updated my Facebook settings, made my profile private, limited who could see my posts. I wasn't hiding. I was protecting my peace. Thursday, I posted something simple, visible only to close friends. Sometimes protecting your peace means disappointing people who never protected yours. 47 likes, dozens of supportive comments. You're so strong, Sophia. Good for you for setting boundaries. Your daughter is lucky to have you. Olivia tried to reach me through Instagram. Her message sat in my request folder. Can we talk? I didn't know Mom and Dad were going to do that. I never wanted this. I left it on read. Friday evening, Lily asked the question I'd been dreading. We were sitting on the couch sharing popcorn and watching a movie. Mommy, will we ever see Grandma and Grandpa again? I muted the TV. I don't know, baby. Maybe someday if they learn to respect our boundaries. What's boundaries? It means treating people with kindness and respect even when you don't get what you want. She thought about this. Grandma and Grandpa weren't kind. No, they weren't. Did Daddy know they wouldn't be? I pulled her close. Yes, that's why he protected us. She was quiet for a moment. Then Daddy was smart. My eyes filled with tears. He really was. We finished the movie. Lily fell asleep on my lap. I carried her up to bed and tucked her in, kissing her forehead. Downstairs, my phone buzzed. Another text from Olivia. I deleted it without reading. 2 weeks after the family lunch, a certified letter arrived. I stared at it on the kitchen table. The return address was a law firm I didn't recognize. Inside was a formal notice. My parents were officially contesting James's will. Their grounds, emotional distress and undue influence during estate planning. My hands shook as I read it. Lily was at school. The house was quiet. I picked up my phone and called Mr. Harrison. He answered on the second ring. Mrs. Bennett, I've been expecting your call. They're really doing this. Yes, I received the same notice this morning. His voice was calm, steady. Don't worry, they have no grounds whatsoever. But the letter says they're grasping at straws. They have to prove James was mentally unsound or that you manipulated him. Neither is true and they have no evidence. So what happens now? I send them the documentation, the recording, the will, the affidavit from the witnesses, and I include a warning about their potential legal costs if they continue. How much will that cost me? Nothing. James's estate covers all legal fees for will defense. He planned for this too. I sat down heavily. He really did think of everything. He loved you very much, Mrs. Bennett. After we hung up, I made tea and sat by the kitchen window. Outside, leaves were starting to turn orange and gold. Fall was coming, James's favorite season. Mr. Harrison worked quickly. By the end of the week, I had a copy of his response letter. It was professional, thorough, and devastating. The recording was attached, time-stamped, verified, along with a list of James's medical records showing perfect mental health and statements from his employer, his doctor, and 3 friends confirming he was of sound mind when he created the will. 1 week later, I received another letter. My parents' lawyer was withdrawing from the case. The news spread through the family like wildfire. Jessica called me. Sophia, did you hear? Dad and Mom's lawyer dropped them. I heard. Everyone knows now about the funeral, the phone call, everything. She paused. Aunt Linda tried to explain it at church last Sunday. It didn't go well. I didn't ask for that, I said quietly. You didn't have to. The truth has a way of getting out. That afternoon, Mom left a voicemail. Her voice was small, shaky. Sophia, I hope one day you can forgive us. We made mistakes. We see that now. I saved the voicemail but didn't respond. More information trickled in over the following weeks. Tom told me that several extended family members had stopped inviting my parents to events. The Thanksgiving invitation list is going around, he said. Your parents aren't on it. Tom, I never wanted. We know, but actions have consequences. They chose a birthday party over your tragedy. People don't forget that. Sarah added that several of Mom's friends from church had distanced themselves. Someone asked Linda point blank if it was true she skipped her son-in-law's funeral. Linda couldn't answer. Olivia apparently told people she was taking a break and moved to her apartment across town. Her Instagram went quiet. No more birthday posts. No more hashtags about being blessed. I didn't feel victorious. I felt sad. These were my parents, my sister, family, but Lily deserved better. And so did I. Mr. Harrison sent me a final letter. The case is officially closed. No further action will be taken. Your inheritance is secure. I framed James's letter and hung it in my office, a reminder that I was loved, that I was protected, that I was stronger than I'd ever known. I met with a financial advisor in November. Her name was Rachel, and she specialized in helping young widows manage their finances. You're doing better than most people in your situation, she said, reviewing my accounts. James set everything up well. He was thorough. He was smart. She pulled out a planning document. Let's talk about Lily's future. We set up a proper college fund, investment accounts, a trust that Lily couldn't access until she was 25. Everything protected, everything planned. What about you? Rachel asked. What do you want? I hadn't thought about myself in months. I don't know. That's okay. You don't have to know right now. I also started therapy, not grief counseling, though we talked about James, but therapy to help me understand my family dynamics. You were the scapegoat, Dr. Martinez explained. Olivia was the golden child, classic family pattern. I just thought I wasn't good enough. You were always good enough, Sophia. They just couldn't see it. Lily started seeing a child therapist, too. Ms. Roberts was gentle, patient. She used art therapy, letting Lily draw and paint her feelings. She's processing well, Ms. Roberts told me after the third session. She misses her father, but she feels safe with you. That's the most important thing. In December, I joined a support group for young widows. 12 women, all under 40, all navigating life after loss. A woman named Rachel, different Rachel, shared her story. I had to cut off my in-laws. They tried to take my house. Best decision I ever made. Others nodded. They understood. For the first time since James died, I didn't feel alone. That evening, Lily started piano lessons, something James had always wanted for her. I sat in the waiting room listening to her fumble through scales and cried, not from sadness, from healing. 6 months passed. It was March now. The anniversary of James's death was approaching. April 14th, a day I'd been dreading, but life had found a new rhythm. Lily was thriving in school. Her teacher said she was doing remarkably well considering everything. I'd started volunteering at the local library twice a week. It wasn't much, but it gave me purpose, made me feel useful. Lily's 9th birthday was coming up. I planned a party at our house, just her school friends, Tom and Sarah, Jessica. Can we have a princess cake? Lily asked. We can have whatever you want. She hugged me tight. I wish Daddy could be here. Me too, baby, but he'd be so proud of you. The party was lovely. 10 little girls running around the backyard playing games, eating too much sugar. Lily blew out her candles and made a wish. She wouldn't tell me what it was. After everyone left, Tom pulled me aside. You're doing great, Sophia, really great. Some days are harder than others. That's normal. He squeezed my shoulder. But you're handling it. Lily's happy. That's what matters. Sarah added, have you heard from your parents? I shook my head. No, and that's okay. They'd tried reaching out a few times, emails mostly, which I left unanswered. I wasn't ready. Maybe I never would be. Olivia sent a birthday card for Lily. It arrived the day before the party. Inside was a gift card to a bookstore and a short note. Happy birthday, Lily. I miss you. Love, Aunt Olivia. Lily looked at it with confusion. Can I use the gift card? Yes. Should I say thank you? I thought about it. If you want to. She wrote a simple thank you note. I mailed it for her. Small steps. Maybe one day there would be healing, but not today, not yet. I ran into Olivia at the grocery store in late April. I was in the produce section picking out apples. When I heard someone say my name, I turned. Olivia stood 3 ft away holding a basket. She looked thinner, tired, older somehow. Sophia. Her voice was quiet. Hi, Olivia. Lily was with me. She stopped standing halfway behind me. Olivia looked at Lily. Hi, Lily, you've grown so much. Lily didn't respond, just pressed closer to my side. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. Look, I know I can't fix what happened, but I'm sorry. I should have been there for you. You're right, I said evenly. You should have. Can we, I don't know, maybe talk sometime, get coffee? I considered this. The old Sophia would have said yes immediately, eager to smooth things over to keep the peace. But I'd learned something in the past 6 months. I didn't owe anyone my peace just to make them comfortable. Maybe, I said carefully, but not right now. Lily and I are still healing. Olivia nodded, wiping her eyes. I understand. I deserve that. Take care, Sophia. You too. We walked in opposite directions. Lily looked up at me. Are you sad? A little, but that's okay. Do you think Aunt Olivia is sad? Probably. Good, Lily said, then paused. Is that mean? I squeezed her hand. It's honest, and sometimes people need to feel sad about the choices they made. We finished shopping and went home. That night, I wrote in my journal something Dr. Martinez had encouraged me to do today. I saw Olivia. It hurt less than I expected. Maybe that's progress. Maybe that's healing. Or maybe I just don't have any more anger left to give. I choose peace over winning. I choose Lily over proving a point. I closed the journal and felt lighter. That evening, Lily and I sat on the porch. Spring was in full bloom now. Flowers in the garden that James had planted years ago. Lily held a cup of hot chocolate, even though it was getting warm outside. Mommy, do you think Aunt Olivia really meant it? I think she meant it in that moment, I said carefully. But words are easy. Actions take time. Will we ever be a family again? I pulled her close. We're a family, Lily. You and me and the people who show up for us like Uncle Tom and Aunt Sarah. Exactly. Family isn't just blood, it's who's there when it matters. Lily thought about this, sipping her chocolate. Daddy was always there. He still is, baby, in different ways. She looked up at the sky. Do you think he's watching us? I hope so. We sat in comfortable silence. A year ago, I would have been terrified of this silence, terrified of being alone with my thoughts. But now, the quiet felt peaceful. Later, after Lily went to bed, I sat at James's desk. I'd slowly been making it my own, clearing out old papers, adding my own things, but I'd kept his photos, his coffee mug, his favorite pen. I opened my journal again and wrote, I used to think setting boundaries meant I was being cruel. Now I know it means I'm being kind to myself and to Lily. James taught me that, not with words, but with his actions. He showed me what it means to protect the people you love, even when it's difficult. I paused, then added, I'm not perfect at this. I still feel guilty sometimes, but I'm learning, and that's enough. One night in early May, I opened James's laptop. I'd avoided it for months, but now I felt ready. I created a document and started typing. Dear James, it's been 8 months since you left. Lily misses you every day. So do I, but I want you to know we're okay because of you. Your letter, your planning, your love, it saved us. Not just financially, but emotionally. You gave me permission to stand up for myself, to protect our daughter, to believe I was strong enough. My parents tried to contest the will. They failed. The boundaries you helped me set are holding. I'm learning to live without you, but I'll never forget what you gave us. Safety, dignity, and a future. Lily is thriving. She's in 3rd grade now, getting straight A's. She plays piano, your dream for her. She talks about you constantly. Daddy would have loved this. Daddy would have been proud. She's right, you would be. I joined a support group. I started therapy. I'm rebuilding myself piece by piece. Some days are hard. I still cry when I hear our song on the radio. I still reach for you in the middle of the night and remember you're not there, but I'm standing. And Lily is standing beside me. Your parents called last week. They want to meet Lily. I said, no, maybe one day, but not yet. I'm protecting her the way you protected us. Thank you, James, for seeing me, for loving me, for making sure we'd be okay. I miss you every second of every day. But I'm okay. We're okay. Forever yours, Sophia. I saved the file. Letter to James, month 8. There were 7 other letters in the folder, one for each month since he died. I closed the laptop and went to bed feeling peaceful. September 14th arrived. 1 year since James died, Lily and I drove to the cemetery together. She wore the blue dress, the one James had bought her. I wore his favorite sweater of mine, the gray one, he said matched my eyes. We brought flowers, white roses, James's favorite. Lily knelt by the headstone and placed the flowers carefully. Hi, Daddy, I'm in 3rd grade now. I got an A in math. I knelt beside her, brushing dirt off the stone. We're doing okay, James, just like you planned. Lily traced her fingers over his name. Do you think Daddy knows we stood up to Grandma and Grandpa? I smiled. I think he's very proud of us. We sat there for a while talking to him, telling him about Lily's piano recital, about the library where I volunteered, about the garden that was blooming. On the drive home, Lily fell asleep in the back seat. I drove slowly, listening to James's favorite song on the radio. I didn't cry, I just listened and remembered. At home, I tucked Lily into bed. She was half asleep. Love you, Mommy. Love you too, baby. In my room, I opened the drawer of my nightstand. Inside was the original letter James had left with Mr. Harrison. I'd read it dozens of times, but tonight I read it again. You are the strongest person I know, you just never had a reason to show it. I folded the letter and put it back. 1 year ago, I thought I'd lost everything, but I'd found something I didn't know I had myself. 3 weeks later, a text message arrived. It was from Mom, the first direct contact in 9 months. Sophia, it's Mother's Day next week. Can we see Lily? I stared at the message for a long time. Lily was at a friend's house. The house was quiet. I sat on the couch and thought about what I wanted, not what they wanted, not what would keep the peace, what I wanted. The answer came quickly. I typed, not yet. When I'm ready, I'll let you know. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. 3 dots appeared immediately. She was typing, then they disappeared. No response came. That Sunday was Mother's Day. Lily made me breakfast. Slightly burnt toast and scrambled eggs. It was perfect. Happy Mother's Day, Mommy. Thank you, baby. She handed me a card she'd made at school. The front had a drawing of the two of us holding hands. Inside, "You are the best, Mommy. Love, Lily." I hugged her tight and tried not to cry. That afternoon, Tom and Sarah invited us over. Jessica was there too. They'd prepared lunch and bought me flowers. "You're doing great, Sophia," Sarah said. "Being a mother is hard. Being a single mother is harder. You're handling it with grace." I looked at Lily playing with Jessica's dog in the backyard and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Pride. Not pride in what I'd survived. Pride in who I'd become. That night, I got another text, this time from Olivia. "Happy Mother's Day. You're an amazing mom. Lily is lucky to have you." I read it twice, then typed, "Thank you. Nothing more, nothing less, small steps. Maybe one day there would be more, but today this was enough." In June, something shifted in therapy. Doctor Martinez asked me a question I'd never considered. "What do you want your relationship with your family to look like in 5 years?" I opened my mouth to answer, then stopped. "I don't know," I admitted. "That's okay. You don't have to know right now," she leaned forward. "But think about it. Do you want reconciliation? Do you want distance? Do you want something in between?" Over the next week, I thought about it constantly. I imagined Lily at 13, at 18, at 21. Did I want her to have a relationship with her grandparents, with her aunt? Yes, but only if they changed, only if they'd earned it. I couldn't control whether they changed, but I could control my boundaries. At my next session, I told Dr. Martinez, "I want the option of reconciliation, but I don't want to force it or rush it. I want them to prove they've changed before they're part of Lily's life again." "That's fair," she said. "That's healthy." "Is it?" I asked. "Sometimes I feel like I'm being cruel." "Protecting yourself isn't cruel, Sophia. It's necessary." That night, I wrote a letter, not to James this time, to myself. "Dear Sophia, you are not responsible for your parents' choices. You are not responsible for their hurt feelings. You are not responsible for keeping everyone happy. You are only responsible for protecting yourself and Lily. It's okay to say no. It's okay to wait. It's okay to take your time. You are enough. You have always been enough. Love yourself." I folded the letter and put it in my journal. Some days I needed the reminder, but more and more I was starting to believe it. Today is October 6th, 13 months since James died. I'm sitting on the porch watching Lily play in the yard. She's running through the sprinkler laughing. The sound fills me with joy. My phone buzzes, another text from Mom. "Sophia, please, we miss Lily." I look at the message for a moment, then type, "I'm not ready, please respect that." This time, she responds, "We understand, we'll wait." It's not an apology, but it's a start. Lily runs over, dripping wet. "Mommy, can we make cookies?" "Of course, baby, let's go." She grabs my hand and pulls me toward the house. I look back at the yard, at the garden James planted, at the swing set he built, at the life we made together. He's not here, but his love still is. Inside, we mix cookie dough. Lily gets flour everywhere. I don't care. These are the moments that matter. While the cookies bake, I think about the journey I've been on. From widow to warrior, from doormat to someone who knows her worth. It wasn't easy. There were days I wanted to give up. Days I wanted to give in. Days I wanted to just say yes to make everything stop hurting, but I didn't. For Lily, for James, for myself. Lily pulls cookies from the oven. "Perfect. Just like you," I say. That night after Lily goes to bed, I stand in the doorway of James's office. My office now. I've made it my own while keeping pieces of him, and I realize I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm living. If you're in a situation where family expects you to give up what's yours, remember this. Protecting yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. Set your boundaries. Honor your worth. And don't let anyone tell you that love means accepting disrespect. That's my story. If you've ever had to choose between family harmony and your own peace, drop a comment and tell me what you decided. I'd love to hear from you. And if you think someone needs to hear this today, please share this video. Also, please hit that subscribe button on the Revenge Mag right now so you never miss the next story that might feel like it was written just for you. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one.